my channel. In today's class, I will focus on chapter 2 of the AS level computer science content, which is communication. Then I will solve questions from 3 years, 3 years questions. I will start with October, November 2024, paper 1-3. So the question to chapter 2 can be found in question 9 of this year. Okay, this is question 9. So the question states, a computer is connected to a local area network that connects to a wide area network. Describe the characteristics of a wide area network. So one is wide area network, you are only asked to describe. So describe means you can just state, okay? So what are the characteristics of a wide area network? Well, they are very simple. One, it covers a large geographical area. That is the first thing. It covers a wide geographical area connecting countries and continents. So two, so one makes use of public communication networks such as mobile phones, telephone lines, satellites, etc. Okay, so these are characteristics of what? Of the wireless area network. Also, we can also say one of the characteristics of one is that they provide wireless network communication using RF signals and microwaves. They make use of RF signals and microwaves instead of cables. So these are the characteristics of what? Of the wireless area network. Since we have this is just a 2-mark question, only 2 points is required for you to be stated. Okay, don't state one. If you state one, you only have 1 point given. So you can describe, right? The one, that is the wireless area network, covers a large geographical area. So the one covers a large geographical area and makes use of public communication network such as telephone lines and satellites. Okay, so these are the two characteristics of the wide area network. You can also write it makes use of radio frequency and microwave instead of what? Of cable, okay, during network communication. Okay, good. The second question states, copper cable can be used to transmit data in a network. So that is, copper cable is often used to transmit data in a network. Complete the table by identifying and describing 2 other transmission media that can be used to transfer data in a wireless area network. So to transfer data in a wireless area network, there are 2 other media that can be used. One is the optic fiber, and the second one should be microwave. So your radio frequency and or microwaves, okay? Radio frequency or microwaves. These are other media at which your wireless area network can be used to transmit data in a network. Okay, so the first one is the optic fiber or fiber optic. Okay, and the second one is the radio frequency or microwave. Okay, now the description of fiber optic. Fiber, it works with what? It works with light waves. Okay, so this uses fiber optic uses it uses pulse of light to transmit data in a network or over a network. So this uses pulse of light to transmit data over a network. Okay. Now, for the radio frequency or microwave, it uses electromagnetic wave. Okay, uses electromagnetic waves. Okay, to transmit data, to transmit data. Okay, over a network, over a network using or on different frequencies. Okay, so this vehicle will determine if it is a Bluetooth or other transmitting media. Okay, that is all for that question. The 10th question, the computer on the LAN is used for real-time video conference, where people connected to the internet in real time using video and audio. Explain how bit trimming is used in a real-time video conference. So when we see a real-time video conference, you must understand what that context means. So this means that uh, there is a video or there is an event going on and you are not physically present, but you want to see everything that is going on, okay, which is something that happens in every day-to-day life activities of today. That means that you need a computer or a gadget to capture the event. Okay, then this event is sent, the captured event is sent over the internet, and you at the receiving end on your computer is able to see everything that is going on at that event that you are not present. So this is called bit streaming, or this is the application of bit streaming. So the question now says that you should explain how it is done, how bit streaming is done. That is how bit streaming is used to what? In a real time. That is to say, as this event is going on, you are seeing it. It is not a recorded event. It is not an event that is finished, then you're watching the recorded version. No, it is a real time. So how this is done, how bit streaming is used to do this is what you are asked to describe. So before you can explain how bit streaming is used, you should understand what a bit streaming is and how does it work. Okay. Now, what is a bit streaming? I've explained what a bit streaming is in this graphical representation. But how does it work? Of course, these people are in this event are being watched by you who is not in the event. Do these people get to your computer system? No. Okay, good. Now, if you remember what we did in chapter 1, I told you that images can be represented as bits, isn't it? So the image and audio can be represented as bits in this computer. Okay, so the images are through a camera recorded, converted to bits. So let's take, for example, the image and audio captured at this event is 1010110100000001. Let's take, for example, this is the bit representation, okay, of the event. That is the image and what? And the audio. Now, this is now sent over the internet. That means if you have access to this bit on your computer, you can see what is happening because this is the representation of the event that is happening at the other end. So, because you need to bitstream means watching everything as it goes live. So that means that this bit is sent to you one by one over the internet. So the one comes to you. Okay, the next thing that comes to you is what? Zero. It comes to is what? Zero, 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 one. So as the event is going on, there is more bits used to represent, and as there are more bits, each of them is getting to you one by one. Okay. Now there are going to be two things, or let me say, yeah, two things in question. One, sent over the internet. Over the internet. So that means that the internet capacity or the bits rate of the internet must be very large for you to be able to send this over the internet. Okay. And two, receive at your own end. Okay. So that means you need a storage. a special storage of the internet at your own end that will receive this one by one, and that is called what? The buffer. Okay, so that when this first one comes, it saves, it goes to the buffer, this goes to the buffer, everything is in the buffer. So in case there is a break in transmission from the internet, you already have that video on your buffer. Don't forget, you are not saving, you are not downloading it. You are watching it on the internet. And if you are not using the buffer, watching it, and there's a break in transmission, you won't see any of the videos again. Okay. So to prevent that and to ensure you have a streamless video streaming, so you need a buffer on your own computer set to temporarily save those bits as they are being transmitted to you. So because of the internet transmission and your bit rates and issue with the internet, the first thing that needs to happen is that your image, your video is needed to be what? To be compressed. Okay, you need a compression, whether lossy or lossless. Okay, of course it depends on the technique that is used, but you need to compress. Why? Because if you record a video, the video may be 35 megabytes, let me say 35 gigabytes. Sending this over the internet will take a large amount of time before it gets to you. But if it is compressed, it gets to you faster. Okay, so compression is already treated in chapter 1, and how videos, images and audio are compressed. Don't forget, a video is a combination of what? Of images and audio. Okay, now that is the first thing. The second thing after compression is that, so after you have compressed, before you have not transmitted, you need to compress before you transmit. Then this video and audio is now transmitted as a series of bits over the internet. Okay, don't forget that bit streaming is a process, is a protocol, is a process of doing things. So that process is what I am explaining now. Okay, the process of using bit streaming in real-time video conference. Okay, now the video and audio is now transmitted continuously. It must be continuous. That word, continuously. Because if it's not continuously, then it is not real time. Okay, okay, good. Then three, when you now transmit them over the internet, then the video is now uploaded to a server. So you need to upload the video to a server. Of course, when you transmit over the internet, it goes to a server. Okay, so the server is very important. Okay, so you go to a server. So when it gets to a server, at the download end, you who did not attend the event is the person who needs to access the video, isn't it? So that means you need to download the video. Okay, so when you download it too, because when you are watching a video on the internet, a live video, you actually did not download it to your hard drive or to your flash drive. You downloading it on your computer system, but not like you actually downloaded it like download. You see it rolling, then it downloads. You go to your download, you play. No, that is not what is happening. It's downloaded to your buffer. That is where the buffer comes in, the temporary storage. Okay, it is downloaded to the what? To the buffer. Is that understood? Is downloaded to the buffer. And when after it's downloaded to the buffer, then you now receive the bitstream from the buffer. So you receive the bitstream from the buffer. Okay, now that means you've been able to access the what? The live video conference that is going on. Okay, since you are asked to explain, everything I just mentioned is an explanation of how bit streaming is used in the what? In a real-time video conference. So how do you write that? It's very simple. So let's write. So the first thing, don't forget you have to explain stage by stage. One stage comes before the other. You cannot send to buffer before you compress. You cannot download to buffer before you compress. So when you are explaining, make sure the whole process is explained from the first step to the second step to the third step as an explanation. Don't list, just explain. Okay, you just list to get your idea, then explain everything as a whole. I hope this is well understood. So the video and audio are represented as bits on the sending computer. These videos, this video, rather plural, this video is compressed before transmission. Okay, these bits, that is the bit representation, are transmitted continuously over the internet to upload on the media server, that is the server. The media server sends data to the buffer on the receiving end on download. That is while the receiver downloads, then the media server sends data to the buffer. The receiving device then receives the bit stream from the buffer. So that is how you are able to see the video conference in real time. I hope this is well understood. Now the next question states, a LAN has a router. The router has a public IP address and what? And a private IP address. State the purpose of the public IP and the private IP. Purpose means why it is used. Why is the public address used? And why is the private IP address used? So the public address is used so that the router is visible to the internet users. Okay, public. I hope you understand that. It's visible to what? To anyone on the internet or to the internet user, to the internet users. Why private is used so that the router is private. That is wrong. To write that it is used because the router is private is wrong. So that the router is private. You don't say private IP is used so that the router is private. To whom? Okay, to whom? Private to whom? Is it private to the internal user or external user? So you must complete that statement. If you don't complete it, you don't get that mark. And the private users are the computers within the LAN. So you can write the private IP address is used so that the router is accessible by the computers within the LAN. Hope you understand. Within the LAN. Now let's take a look at this first example. The second example, the second description, it's in context with the question, but the first one is not in context because the question is talking about LAN and the router. Then I say so the router is accessible by the computers within the LAN. That is in context. So when I say use so the router is visible to the users, oh, this is not even completed. So it's users in the external network, in the external network. Okay, so because the LAN is connected to the router and that is just within. So public means you want the router to be seen to the external network outside of the LAN. Private, to be accessible by the computers within the LAN. So let's make sure your answer is within the context of the question. I hope that is understood. So that is 2 marks. So the LAN uses subnetting. Describe the purpose of subnetting a network. So describe means just state. Purpose, why? Why is subnetting required? Okay, so you must understand the question to know how to best present your answer. Subnetting. Then that is subnet. Thing is a process. That means subnetting is a process. So from the word subnet, net, network, sub, division. So this is a process of dividing dividing a network into 2 or more subnetwork. If you write that you don't have a mark, you only define subnetting. That is the definition for subnetting. The division of a network into 2 or more networks. So why do we need to do this, or what is the benefit we are going to be derived from dividing a network into 2 or more network, or why do we need to do this? What advantage do we get from this? If you divide a network into two or more networks, one thing you're going to benefit from it is what? Is reduced congestion. Don't forget, you cannot eradicate congestion, you can only reduce it. Congestion will not happen if people do not use the network. If there are people using the network, congestion might happen. Congestion might happen. So to reduce it, you have to subnet. If you don't reduce it, you have more risk of congestion. I hope this is understood. So apart from this, the network is easier maintained. Network is easy to maintain. The network is easy to maintain. So because you subnet, the network is divided into different parts, okay? So it's not complex, it's not complicated. So when you want to maintain that, it's easier for you to do it in peace, and everything is what is maintained. So that means that because you have reduced, why were we able to reduce the congestion? Because the complexity has been aiding complexity. So if you are asked to explain the purpose and describe the purpose, just state the purpose. So we can write that subnetting allows a network to be divided into subnetworks, okay, to hide complexity, which in turn reduce what? Congestion, and makes the network easy to maintain. And that is all. That is just 2 marks. So I hope this is well understood. If you have any question, you can ask me in the comment section. But before we go, let us read the examiner's report on this question 9. What is the examiner's report? So before we read the examiner report on that question, let's get to the general comment. The general comment on from the examiner. It says there is a list of command words used in exam questions given on page 41 of the specialization, that is from the syllabus or whatever. Candidates should be encouraged to look carefully at this command word. That is, you explain, you describe, everything. You must understand those command words. Because if you're asked to explain and you describe, you don't have your mark. For example, a question that begins with the command explain requires different kind of response to that starts with the command word state. There are other keywords that is used. What as benefits and drawbacks are example, okay? So kindly should familiarize yourself with them. So make sure you familiarize yourself with all the keywords, okay? There is a difference between benefits and what? And drawbacks. These are word and opposites. Candidates must think carefully about their answer before they begin to write. That's exactly what I did here. Before I wrote my answers, what did I do? I thought of it. I tried to understand the concept before I write. Most students will not understand the concept. They know it, they just think like, oh, let me just write. They write and they don't get their mark. Even though what they have written makes sense, but they still do not get their mark because they do not answer the question. I hope you understand that. Okay, good. Um, Then let's take a look at general comment. Candidate to take care of their handwriting. If it cannot be read, there is no mark. So don't forget, you can plan your work so that you can write better. If you plan your work, it helps you to write better. At least people can see what you've written and they can mark it. If you write in such a way that it cannot be written, then you're going to be in trouble. Okay. Then there's another very important thing. If candidates write a response in the answer space and later decide that the answer is incorrect and need to be replaced, the new version should be written either on any blank page of the script or additional page of paper. Rather than squashing the new answer into existing answer. Yeah, a lot of students do that. Even my students do that. So they see that all this is wrong. Okay, then they do this. After doing this, then they try to write, and have something like this. So that is discouraged. If it is wrong, cancel and write it on additional page. Okay, most especially when most of what you have written is what is wrong. So that is very important. That's what the examiner is what it's saying at that point. I hope that is understood. Okay, good. Now the next thing says, when answer is replaced or is continued elsewhere, a note for the searcher, please see the bottom. So don't forget that if you cancel out a work and write it somewhere, write it there that this question is answered on page or on additional page. You cancel it, please. That helps the examiner to know that, oh, the answer is at the back. Okay, please don't forget about that practice. It is very important. Okay, now the next thing is candidates avoid writing on the margins of page. So don't write on the margin of page, it will not be marked. Now, so let's go to the question 9. Question 9. Question 9A. Extending over a large geographical area was a popular choice of one. Many choice of characteristics of a one. Many candidates found it more challenging to describe the second one. Okay, I believe I've explained both of them. There were some good answers to this question with suitable transmission media identified and described. So fiber optic and the radio frequency of microwave was well explained. But some candidates wrote twisted pair cable. Twisted pair cable is from copper. Okay, the question was not answered well. Many candidates need to improve the answer of how bitstreaming is used. So most students do not properly answer how bitstreaming is used. And that was the reason why I have to break it down here, okay, before I explain my response. Okay, I hope that is understood. Break it down, understand before you break down your response. Now, answers for a public IP are more likely to be correct than private. Some candidates should understand that using the word public and private in describing the purpose is not appropriate. I believe I mentioned that. A private IP appears keep the address private. To who? Who is he keeping it address from? Who is he keeping it private from? Is it from me? I don't know. Okay, good. Now, this question is well answered. Many candidates give appropriate answer in terms of security and reduction of what? Of network traffic. Okay, which was the last question. I hope this is understood. If you have any question, please don't hesitate in the to ask in the comment section. And please remember to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.